Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the training week of August 28th, where the weekly focus is, of course, to continue building up towards the World Championships and continue filming my routines with the Pro Cup 2 competition name in mind, just in case I get a better routine for the next WGA Cash Cup than I have already submitted. I've already submitted all 6. But last week, Owen did get back to me, and you are allowed to resubmit your routines if you do a better one. But of course, the routine submission date will be later. Something I added into my training on the air track there, you'll notice, is rather than doing the double front pike and the layout double front tuck in isolation, I've actually combined those two into a little sequence. So I'm doing a double front pike, running back, and doing a layout double front tuck. And to be honest, I don't know why I didn't think of doing that sooner. It mimics what happens during my floor routine a lot better. I think my initial thoughts was just to get more reps of those skills on the air track, which isn't too hard on my body, especially on a Monday morning. But also to continue working towards getting my knees together on the layout punch double front. Now that the double front is quite easy for me to keep my knees together, but I'm still not having it translate into my routine on floor, the next logical step is to combine the two together to do the double front when I'm already a little bit puffed after the double front pike. Hopefully that'll increase the chances of translating into my floor routine. Speaking of the floor routine, I'm still feeling it's really difficult to finish on floor. Last week it went all the way to the point of me contemplating, should I just do my old routine, make my life a lot easier for 0.2 less in difficulty, start with the layout punch double front tuck and do the double back second. First of all, it'll be a lot easier to get my knees together on the double front, which is first, as opposed to second after a double pike. And of course a lot less risky, because a lot of the times I do sit that double front pike down. On the other hand, I do like to just follow through with what I've been training. I do believe that training consistently will, even though you might not be hitting it in the gym, you do get more energy in the competition. So that consistent training does lead to a better performance during the competition. You don't see me under rotate that very often. Must have not been feeling the greatest. And that kind of leads me to another topic, is I do think I've made a small mistake in my build up towards Worlds. I've been doing so many run-throughs, so many mock competitions. The reason behind that was I do struggle a lot in that 10-minute warm-up, one-touch compete format. So on one hand, I've gotten really comfortable and acclimatized to that. But on the other hand, I think I've neglected, once again, I do this every build-up, I've neglected putting a little bit more work into the problematic areas. For example, this giant Diamond, like I said last week, is moving a little bit backwards. Just yesterday I did like 15 reps of them, and maybe about 2 of them were good. Pagans, casinas, things like that. Just to spend time to isolate those skills, to become more comfortable with them, to focus on form, keeping your legs together, spotting the bar better. Because that comfort translates to not being so nervous in the competition, translates to really knowing what to do. Of course, nobody knows 100% what to do. If you did, nobody would ever miss a high bar release, but we've all seen the greats like Kohei, Daiki, Epke. We've all seen them fail plenty. So I don't think it's possible to know 100% exactly how to place a release where you want it in a competition setting. But I do think it's more or less possible to, place it on the bar, maybe 90% of the time. So isolating the skills, paying more attention to the minor details like the speed of the giant, the power, and of course the form and the visual, instead of just kind of throwing your hands towards the bar. I think that sort of training will benefit me, from this point on really. So what I've been doing in the last few days of my training is just to take a step back away from routines. I've made routines across the board now. I think high bar is my lowest number, with only 2 routines under my belt so far, and that is really low. But although that's admittedly low, the other routines I've gotten through plenty. Even my next hardest one down, P-bar, I think I've got about 10 reps of that. Floor, less hit reps, but on floor you don't really fall off. You just land on your butt and you can continue the routine. So plenty of routine reps everywhere except for high bar. So fam, we got 1.5 weeks, not even that, 1 week and 2 days. So just a little bit longer than a week left before I leave to London first for a 3-day training camp before going to Belgium. We're gonna meet up with Ethan over there in London. I'm really looking forward to having a kind of new environment to have some fun in. Right now our pit's not doing too well. We can't use our pit, so we can't play too much. And I am looking forward to doing a little bit of play over in London. There you see the frustrations. But hey, this week I'm keeping it chill. I've even stopped drinking coffee since last Monday, because coffee does get me pretty pumped up. And it's making me a bit slower, but with this step back from routines and into kind of skill refinement, I think it might actually be good to be a little bit slower anyway. Yeah, that grip. I think it was after this day specifically that I decided, that's it, no more. I'm gonna change back to my original structure where I did the giant Diamondov and Peach right after the Peach one Healy. That way a little bit less sweat is building up on my palms, because as it stands, even in the Makutes I was feeling, wow, my hands are a bit sweaty. And then by the time it was time to do the Peach and the giant work, it got to the point of being wet. And every time I'm like, let's put more chalk on the bar. If it's sweaty, let's put more chalk on the bar. And I take it to the point where I feel like if I put any more chalk on, it'll be too rough, too crusty, or too dry. But apparently it's still not enough. That lack of commitment, you see. So if I do isolate a bit more on that casino, just get more repetitions, it could be, the key between, or the difference between committing and not committing. Oh man. So I want to make a video of how difficult it is to keep form when your face is literally in the bar. But hey, look at that. Didn't freak out. Kept the composure, kept the cool. Bit of a leg split there. Still working on getting those feet together on that pike catcher during that release phase. It's proven quite difficult. And again, probably from, almost 20 years of working straddle catcher. The rest of the routine is looking good. I'm keeping form. My Zoli Min is turning over a little bit more. I'm catching a lot more comfortably in the over grip. So all in all, even endurance is getting better without too many routines. I don't think I need to pike my dismount anymore, and that's something that from here on out I'm going to be focusing on. No more piked dismounts. But yeah, with only 2 reps, hey, that's me. I like to bite off a bit more than I can chew on high bar. It's the biggest competition of the year, so I want to send the big one. Started so well, and that wasn't so much a over rotation thing. My legs were just so weak, like jelly. But look at that, Wasn't any jelly over there. That was a good stick. Had to tuck that one down from the exhaustion. Yeah, floor 6 apparatus is hard. Thursday. Oh, that's right. You would have seen in the weekly highlights that I managed the flop. So I've transferred some of my single pommel work actually up onto the real horse rather than doing it on the low buck, which obviously makes it a lot harder. But I didn't feel too bad, and you know, I threw a flop for the first time in probably a decade, and I still got it, fam. I still got my Russian flop. If you remember, before Nationals, I was trying to do that Russian flop facing out after watching Ethan compete it like that at Oceania. It would be more beneficial for me to do it that way, because then I could do the D flop and then still count the B Savado. But if I do the D flop like I did there, it would only give me 2 tenths, so quite a lot of work and quite a lot of risk for only 2 tenths. A tenth is one thing, playtime is another thing. And playtime, you can do it however you want to do it. There we go. Decided to do some stacks. Continue maximizing that block. Now if I block like that, I reckon I could land a 2.5. Well, that's been the story of my life, and I think actually a lot of athletes, it doesn't quite transfer the same onto the, you know, when you flip and twist the vault as it does onto the stack. On the stack, you're just isolating the block. Don't need to worry about anything else, so you can really put full oomph into it. Now we're still aiming for that pagan from that other week. That one was close. That's probably the next best pagan that I've done. Legs were almost together. Didn't quite kick out though to straight knees like I did on that other one. Speaking of pagans, looks like after that second draft came out, the technical committee of the FIG is still keen to increase the value of Gaylord type skills. But one thing that I wrote a letter about was them increasing Jaeger and Genya. I don't think that Jaeger and Genya should be increased to Ds, and I really feel strongly about that. You know, you can have a sloppy little swing and catch a straddled Jaeger from not even a swing to horizontal, because you can get away with not needing height by straddling your legs a lot. Similar situation with Genya, you can swing back a little bit and really just pike it around. Yes, piking is an execution deduction, but still, you can do the skill from a very low swing. Nobody is gonna do a Kovacs from a swing, even from horizontal. You know, you can do it from a back upright to handstand, but not from horizontal. Jaegers and Genyas, you're also flipping less than one full flip, just less than one. Whereas Kovacs, you're flipping around 1.5 times, and you're going over the bar. So there's a fear factor there as well. So the technical committee actually got back to me and did like some of the feedback that I got. Their logic is that you don't really see too many Jaegers or Genya type skills these days, so that's why. Now I do think that is for a reason. It's because that people don't do them because they're not worth so much. So anyway, I might actually just make a whole separate video of all the things that I suggested to the technical committee. There's a few holes in the code, and there have been for a while. If you guys remember, last cycle, a Nazarian to planche was worth less than a Nazarian to Maltese, based on the logic that a planche is a C and the Maltese is a D. But come on, you're pressing up from a back lever much more into a planche than you are into a back lever. It's so much more difficult. So it took them a long time to catch up to that. Another one that always boggled my mind was Quintero on P-bars, a bell full twist, a giant double back full twist to up ram. So in that second draft, all the giant double back skills to up ram got upgraded, except Quintero. So they had Tanaka and Quintero both as Gs. But the skills are in two different dimensions. Nobody's done a Quintero since the guy himself in 03, I think it was. So they liked that point as well. So hopefully Quintero gets upgraded and we might see the second ever Quintero one day soon. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that name right. So I think that P-bar routine will be a good submission that you saw from before for the WGA. Of course, fingers crossed, it puts me in the top 3. And guys, I'm sure you've been following, but there is a lot of big names in this second WGA Pro Cup. So really looking forward to watching the next one. I think I might have to watch it from London, or I'll be traveling while it's going, so I might have to watch it after the live stream. But still really looking forward to it. Fingers crossed we get some top 3s and make a little bit more cash money to fund this Worlds trip. And speaking of funding World Cups, I've committed to at least 2 World Cups next year, the Challenge Cups at the start of the season, and the first 2 are Egypt and Cottbus, I think. So hopefully everything works out and we get to do a trip to Egypt and compete some gymnastics there. See the pyramids. Now I didn't blur out this floor routine, but I'm pretty sure this will be my floor routine submission for the WGA as well. Now this day I decided to start on something else. I decided to start on vault. And if you saw, I started my competition off with a Yurchenko back tuck because I went off too high. So I was really hoping for a 6 out of 6 this day. You know, close but no cigar. And we started off with a Yurchenko back tuck. Pommel horse second to last. I'm used to doing it first so far in this build-up, so clearly a bit gassed out there, but you know, it is what it is. Breathe, keep it together. In other news, I have found all of my nice Kudanovs where I caught with a nice giant following. And the last one, you'll actually see it. I'll blur it out, but you'll see it at the end of this video. So all 4 of my best Kudanov catches are now on the Patreon. So I'm really glad I especially found that last one from the Hungary World Cup podium trading. I thought that's a video I would never get back. So really stoked about that. So I think that's pretty much bringing us to the end. Yeah, I threw some triple backs along with Sam into the you know, from the air track. So that was some good fun, but didn't do too much on the Saturday after the Sunday. Here's the death drop full twist I was talking about last time. Thanks for sticking with us, fam. All the best. Till next time. Kudanov coming up right after this clip.